Somebody asked a great question on TikTok. What can I do because prayer ain't working? And you believers are going to take, and whatever your faith is, everybody ain't Christian, Muslim, whatever you are, y'all going to be offended by that. Oh my God, what can I do because prayer ain't working? You mean tell me, Doc, sometimes prayer don't work? No, prayer does work, but sometimes you need practical application. And that don't mean you less spiritual either. All you deep religious folks. Oh my God. That don't make sense, Doc. Faith without works is dead, which means your prayer without action is null and void. You don't believe it? Why don't you believe God, Buddha, Allah for a new job, but don't go out here and fill out no applications? And let me know how that works. You know what makes my work special? I've been told because it's practical. Make this your paper landscape. Let's do this. I want you to draw the diagram, the $1 million diagram. We know what it is. Start with the word beliefs, put it in a box. Start on the left side. Beliefs, draw an arrow, write the word thoughts, not thoughts, thoughts. Oh my God. Beliefs to thoughts, thoughts, draw an arrow, write the word emotions. I'm not running out of space because I made this a little big. Beliefs, dash, thoughts, dash, emotions, dash, write the word behavior. Beliefs become thoughts, thoughts become emotions, emotions become behavior, and all of these things influence what? Write it at the top, circle it, your life. All of those things influence your life. When our beliefs create our thoughts, and our thoughts create our emotions, and our emotions create our behavior, this cycle creates and determines our life. I want you, from the word emotion, I want you to draw a down arrow, and I want you to write the word pain. Just stick with me. I think this is going to work. Write the word pain. So down from the word arrow, emotions, just bear with me, y'all. This is going to make sense in a second. I want you to write the word pain. I want you to draw a down arrow from thoughts, and I want you to write the word anger. Down from the word thoughts, I want you to write the word anger. Down from the word emotions, I want you to write the word pain. Remember what I said earlier? I wasn't sure which one went in what order. I still believe that. I don't think there is necessarily an order. I think you can experience anger first and then pain, or you can experience pain first and then anger later. Who knows? Situational. But if we consider our anger to be driven by our thought, which a lot of times anger is driven by a thought. The offense has already occurred. You've already been shaken. But as you sit still, just because we can't see the anger and the pain because it has dissolved, it has been disassociated, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And sometimes when we think about the shaking that just occurred, that thinking creates what? Anger. Y'all stay with me. When we think about this while we're at a standstill, the thought creates anger. The thought creates anger, watch, and our emotions as a result of this anger, then creates what? Pain. Then if this cycle is true, and we know this is true, that our beliefs create our thoughts create our emotions create our behavior. And our thoughts encourage anger, our emotions support and produce more pain, then something needs to go right here with beliefs. Is there something we could put here with beliefs that can help to manage our anger and help to manage our pain? Oh, this is so good. Oh my gosh, this is good. Is this making sense? Is there something we can put right there? I have some thoughts on this. What I think goes in this box, honestly, there's a lot of things, y'all, I think we could put in there. You know what I think goes in there? Self-awareness. And let me explain why. The reason why I say self-awareness is because even the foundation of your beliefs and the extent to which you understand your beliefs has to be grounded in a certain level of self-awareness, which is why a lot of people can't control their thoughts or emotions or behaviors because they don't even realize that that stuff is grounded in beliefs. They're clueless. Well, that had me thinking, well, if a person is clueless to how their beliefs impact their thoughts, emotions, and behavior, then their same cluelessness will keep them from managing their anger and pain. Let me say it again slow. If a person is clueless as to how their beliefs will manage their thoughts, emotions, and behavior, they will also be clueless at how, if they ain't self-aware, they can't manage anger and pain either. Now, some of you should be looking at this and saying then, wait a minute then, Doc. So if that's true, Doc, Then what should go under behavior? Glad you asked. Let me tell you what doesn't go under there. When it comes to resentment, the first thing that most people recognize when somebody is operating in resentment, the first thing that most of us recognize is their bitterness, right? This soda has been shaken. We see the suds. This is going to be a flat. We call it flat. This is going to be a flat soda, right? So not bitter in the sense of there's nothing bitter about flat. It's actually bland, but you get the point, right? It changes the consistency and the taste of the soda, right? Most people, the first thing they recognize when it comes to resentment is bitterness. Because when you mix anger and bitterness up, you see suds. Those suds are bitter, what people might call bitterness. Why? Because bitterness is often recognizable, it's visible, but the more of it we get, the flatter the soda becomes. Are y'all with me? The more of it we get, the flatter we become. So I don't think we put bitter under behavior because bitterness shouldn't be the goal. Beliefs should control your thoughts. Your thoughts should control your emotions. Your emotions should control your behavior. Well, self-awareness should control anger. And when anger is under control, pain should subside. When pain subsides, something else has to happen. And this is where we get to where we need to be as it relates to processing resentment in a healthy way. This ain't complicated. Some of y'all like to make this stuff so complicated. Y'all simplify. Let me tell you the beauty of this work. If you do this work especially, let me just give you a tip whether you want it or not. Simplify. Most people don't understand these terms that we know and that some of you throw out there. Just simplify. Simple is better. Okay. Under behavior, let's introduce something. I want you to draw another circle there. Okay. And I want you to put in that circle. That fly is so loud and close. Spiritual principles. Self-awareness should help us to manage our anger. Our anger should help us to manage our pain. Our pain should then guide us towards functioning in spiritual principles. What kind of spiritual principles? Draw 3 arrows. I'm going to give you 3. And these are the things that we need to focus on that'll help us. Number 1, control. Control. Control is a spiritual principle. And sometimes, y'all ready? Sometimes resentment looks like the need to be in control. Some of you don't even know you are resentful about a situation or an incident that's occurred. All you know is that you try to control everything. Oh my God. Some of you don't even realize that this control that you have, you being a control freak and having to control every narrative, every situation, every incident, every outcome, every story, every side, every perspective, what he say, what she say, this need to be in control is really nothing more than an outward manifestation of inner resentment. But when you're self-aware and you can manage your anger and you managing your pain, you can then recognize that control ain't what most people think it is. It's actually spiritual, which means you don't have to be in control of nothing or nobody. All you have to do is be in control of yourself. And you recognize that when you try to be in control of a situation or try to be in control of people or circumstances in order to try to manage this bottled up resentment that you have, is really fake control. It's pseudo control. Pseudo control is when you use control as a defense mechanism to avoid pain. Would you record that? Pseudo control is when you use control as a defense mechanism to avoid pain. Oh my God. This is for all you people that have been hurt, wrong, offended, and so you have become the ultimate control freaks in every area of your life. Why? Well, because, Doc, I got to protect myself. I can't let nobody get me again. That's pseudo control. You're doing it as a defense mechanism because you don't want to deal with the pain. Oh my God. And people don't even look at that as a sign that they're living in resentment. They think it's healthy. In fact, some of you go as far to say this: that's a boundary. I've had clients use their pseudo control and call it a boundary. Yeah, Doc, I'm not controlling. I'm setting boundaries. Me needing to control stuff and make sure that things are right and people don't do it's a boundary to ensure that they can't hurt me again. No, it's pseudo control. And you know why that's hard for people to realize? Because it's a spiritual principle. The spiritual principle of control is not the natural principle of control. The natural principle of control is to try to grab things and to dictate the terms of it. The spiritual principle of control is what book number 5 is talking about. Letting go of it. Look at y'all. Y'all quiet. Letting go of it. And you'll never understand letting go without a spiritual foundation, which is why book number 5 is going to confuse many of y'all if you have not worked on that third area of healing: mental, emotional, spiritual. If you ain't worked on that, good luck with your resentment, because you will try to control everything in your life after every offense, thinking that your effort to try to control everything is going to keep you out of harm's way. And it's pseudo control. It is a way of you trying to disconnect from the pain of what has happened in the past. Oh my God. And y'all, at the end of the day, this is really dysfunction. And let me tell you why this is dysfunction. This is dysfunction because it helps you to think you have a power that you really don't have. Oh my God. This is dysfunction because it makes you think you have a power you don't have. Thank you, Nicole. I think that's my client. Good to see you. Appreciate you. Is this making sense? I hope y'all supporting this show. When you think you can control everything and everybody, and that's going to help you avoid pain, that is dysfunction at its finest. I told somebody recently, I don't have to have the next word, first word, or last word. I don't care, because I don't have to be in control. And if you don't have a spiritual compass, that makes no sense to you. That the best way to have control is to stop trying to have control. This is why this next book, some of y'all gonna need, you ain't gonna read through this next one like a novel. You have to put your thinking cap on. Doc, what's the name of the book? You want it? Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Don't make it happen. Let it go. Uh-oh. It's called Don't Make It Happen. Let It Go. It's going to be out sooner than you think. And most of what I talk about in that book, control. You cannot get past resentment if you have to be in control. That's control of a narrative. That's control of people. That's in control of outcomes. That's in control of situations. That's in control of your family. That's in control of your ex. That's in control of what you ain't going to resolve an ounce of resentment or offense needing to be in control, because it's dysfunction. Your effort to be in control, and you walk around, yep, can't hurt me because I got a boundary. Can't hurt me because I put up a boundary. So you can't hurt me, and it's fake. And it is dysfunction at its finest, because you are assuming a power that you really don't have. You can't control people. You can't control narratives. Even if you think you can, you can't. Yeah, I'll repost it if people support the show. I told y'all this is gonna be a good live. It's thorough too. I got 11:02. I need all of my 25 minutes. I need it. We can beat resentment by gaining understanding of the spiritual principle of control. We can also beat resentment. Let me give you another spiritual principle: by healing our relationship with the word trust. You got to heal your relationship with the word trust. Heal your relationship with the word trust, which is also another spiritual principle. Why is this important? Because some of you have trust issues as a result of offense that has created resentment, but is lacking in self awareness. So if you have resentment that is lacking in self awareness, then it is erroneous to say you have trust issues. And the reason why it is erroneous to say you have trust issues when you have no self awareness is because you can't properly gauge whether or not somebody is or is not trustworthy if you're not owning your role in the situation. Let me put this plainly. Some of y'all don't have trust issues. Some of you just have not taken the offense and the resentment that you have, or rather, let's just take that word off the table. The anger and the pain that you have towards others, you have not properly processed it, and you have chosen trust as almost like a weapon. We weaponize the word trust. You want an example? You got to earn my trust. Let me ask y'all a question. How many of you, put in the chat area, if you've ever felt resentment towards someone or a situation, and you've used the phrase, you have to earn my trust? I want you to type a 1 in the comment. Anybody ever said that? Been offended, pain and anger came, and you told people you got to earn my trust. I've been through whatever. You got. Let me see it. Come on, put some ones. That's it. Just like 10 of y'all. That's it. It's almost. Do my math. Oh, we still almost got 500 people on the live. Shadow ban. Not bad. How many of you have done that? I have a question. If you've been one of those people, where's my mouse? If you have been one of those people that has had to deal with resentment or pain and anger as a result of offense, and then you have engaged with somebody else and then said, hey, I think you're cool, whatever, you're just going to have to earn my trust. You might even add more to it. You may say something like, yeah, you got to earn my trust because I've been hurt before. Can I tell y'all something that ain't going to, I hope it don't offend you? If you've said that, that is the epitome of dysfunctional trust. That is the epitome of a dysfunctional spiritual foundation. Yep, I agree with that, Mary Lou B. She said on TikTok, it's the same as saying to somebody, I have no reason to trust you. What? Wait. Saying to somebody, I have no reason to trust you, or saying to somebody, you got to earn my trust when they weren't in on the pain and anger is the epitome of spiritual dysfunction. And so you walk around talking about something, you got trust issues. No, you're dysfunctional. You're broken. Because when you're healed and you have mental, emotional, spiritual healing, and you have these three things as a foundation, guess what? When you meet people, you hand them trust as you meet them. Hey, y'all, type in the chat levels, all caps, because somebody's bound to disagree with it. Doc, you're wrong. You're going too far. You tell me I meet a complete stranger, I should hang out trust. Yeah, heal people do. Why would I live my life and operate in a deficit towards people that had nothing to do with my past? Instead of being healthy enough to hand them a trust and see what they do with it. And then if they ruin the trust, that's a totally different conversation. But all you people that start off, put people in the depths, I don't know you, so you're going to have to earn it. You start them in the negative, that's dysfunction. And it's a result of your resentment. It is a result of you not properly processing your anger and pain. Kudos to those of you that can meet people and trust them from the beginning. And that doesn't mean you don't have to pull that trust back. It doesn't mean you don't have to reel that trust in, but it means you can show up, give people the opportunity to have access to your trust, and then see what they do with it. Because that, my friends, is the healthier way. And this is why so many of your first dates are so bad. This is why some of y'all end up on arguments on your first date. You know why? Because you come to the table with a whole bunch of anger and pain instead of coming to the table with a whole lot of trust. Nah, you come to the table with a whole bunch of anger, whole bunch of pain, no self-awareness, and trust issues and control issues. And you wonder why you're still single. Oh my God. That's why. Which leads me to the third spiritual principle. You guys should know, if you follow my work, you should even know where I'm going here. Because I talk about this and I talk about it heavily in the book. And of course, y'all, this should go without saying. If you hand out your trust and somebody doesn't handle it right, you obviously don't have to keep trusting them. I'm talking about starting off in deficits and starting people off in deficits. If you starting off these connections in deficits, you can't be shocked that you ain't made no meaningful connections. You starting people off in the red. I don't know you. I don't know where you came from. I don't know how you've been shaken. And you gonna tell me I gotta earn opening this? No, I keep you on the shelf. Oh my God. Heal people looking folk like that. Nah, you can just stay on the shelf where you at. I'm good. Leads me to the third spiritual principle that will help you manage this resentment thing, and it's called fear. Getting a healthy relationship with fear. I like that. Somebody in Instagram, I want to give her credit. It's me Z717 said, yeah, I gotta earn it and I gotta earn a flat soda. Exactly. Which is why you're not gonna put me as a healed man through some hoops because you show up at the table in anger and pain, and I gotta earn your trust. No, go let somebody else do it. I don't want no flat soda. Oh my God. I don't want your flat soda. Somebody else do it. Let somebody else cope with your anger and pain and your trust issues and control issues and your fear challenges. That's not my problem. You've been shaking like this, and then you're like, here, Doc, you open me. That's all right. You think I'm going to jump through hoops for something flat? We have to develop a healthy relationship with fear. And you should know from my triangle of trust that the best way to manage fear is to manage it with what? The best way to manage fear, I'm multitasking like crazy, is to manage it with faith. You manage fear with faith. And you're going to need some faith if you're going to rest in such a spiritual principle that will allow you to be open to new possibilities after you've had to deal with resentment. Let me say this in just plain English. Your resentment should not be the reason why you're still single. And if it is, it's because you don't have either one or all three of these spiritual principles. You ain't got it. Doc, I would be with somebody right now, but I'm just so resentful of men because of what my daddy did. No, no, bro. You ain't with nobody because you have fear, trust, and control issues. Let's just call it what it is. And the only way you're gonna get past fear is you gotta substitute faith. You have to substitute faith. I call this part of my triangle of trust. Ebook is available on the link in my bio. And you're gonna get a big dose of it in book number 5. You know why? Because the triangle of trust is one of the answers that I've discovered is a great answer to letting go of anything, including letting go of resentment. You're going to have to operate in some of these. Listen, y'all, I hope this made sense. If it did, I want you to type church in the comments with 3 R's. And then I want you to remember you've got 2 jobs. 1, be better today than what you were yesterday. And 2, don't forget what I told you.